Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I'm going to film, I'm outside, so I hope the wind noise isn't too bad. If I do get a gust of wind, I apologise. But today I am with Nico. I've also got Phil this side of me, hold on. Here's Philly Bear, sunbathing, and Teddy is just under the table. But I'm filming answering your questions about pregnancy, Q&A from the balcony in the garden, because it's a really nice day. So apologies for the sunnies, but they're actually quite needed. Yeah, me and Neeks, the girls, will talk you through pregnancy and answer all your questions, because there have actually been a lot since we've announced it. So stuff I want to cover is like due date, how far along, the fact that I've always said that I would only ever have one child, and why suddenly I'm pregnant with number two, if it was planned, if we know gender, how first trimester's been in general, how Mia's reacted, and what else do I want to cover? I'm trying to think what other questions we got quite commonly. I think that was most of them. I think I'll probably go off on tangents anyway, you know me. Yes, I do have a baby bump. I am showing, and I think in general I just wear baggy clothes. I'm not one that will just wear a like tight fit in something and show off the bump that often. I did it when I was on holiday. We went to Cyprus recently, but I am already in second trimester. I am 23 weeks pregnant as I'm filming this, and baby is due on Halloween actually. So it was weird because it started as the 3rd of November due date, and then it's moved to the 31st of October based on measurements. So it's between those dates, and they keep changing depending upon the day that I go for a scan as to what date I'm measuring at. But yeah, end of October, early November is due date. We do know what we're having, and I have actually filmed a gender reveal. We found that out just before we moved, so I will not be saying on this video what the gender is, but that video will shortly come afterwards. It's a really special video. It was a really special moment. We got somebody to fill a cricket ball with the like gas colour, and then we took all the dogs on the park. They obviously wanted the ball desperately. Hello Phil. They wanted the ball, so they were trying to chase it as we hit it, and it exploded, and Mia was there demanding what colour she wanted, and all our family and friends were there, but just literally right before we moved, so that was really, really nice. So yeah, that video will be going live very, very soon, but I wanted to try and answer some questions before you saw that. But yeah, so I am 23 weeks pregnant, due in 4 months, I think. I'm being poured by Phil right now, so I'm getting distracted. But yes, I'm due in 4 months, and gender to be revealed. If you are a long-term subscriber, then you will remember after Mia, I always said that there would be no more. My plans were always one child, and then my pregnancy and labour, which I have gone into in previous videos, but I will talk about. Oh God, Phil just fell off the sofa. I will talk about again. My pregnancy and labour were challenging. For my pregnancy, I had really bad, towards the end, insomnia, to the point where I didn't sleep. I think it was 5 or 6 days in a row when I was calling the doctors in tears. Like, I needed sleep. It was such a lonely time, and it felt like so long a period to go without sleep, just laying there every night, even though I'm laying next to Shane, but feeling so alone, because no matter what I tried, no matter what herbal remedy, playlists, you know, all the podcasts and stuff for meditation, deep sleeps, all of that, nothing was working. And then I ended up being put on codeine to help me sleep. I gave me codeine because that's a pain pill they give to women during labour. So I don't know why she was thinking that would be okay. I didn't realise until after 2 days of sleep and bragging about the fact that I'd finally slept and I was happy again, that it was an opioid, and it was highly addictive as well. I probably would, if Shane's sister hadn't mentioned that to me, and the addiction can pass on to the baby, I would have taken that pill or multiple pills every day up until delivery, which would have been maybe 6 weeks, maybe longer, maybe even up to 10 weeks. I don't remember exactly at what stage, but I remember it was like 30-week mark, somewhere around that. And then I was overdue with Mia. I ended up being induced, which caused a really difficult labour. She hadn't turned around, so she came out I think they call the term stargazing, where she's facing the wrong way. And she ended up being a forceps and episiotomy delivery, which was obviously difficult, and I was quite traumatized. I remember my birth plan being that I wanted skin-to-skin contact straight away. I wanted delayed cord clamping, all of these things, which I get, stuff changes, but it was my mindset that changed. I was so traumatized. My eyes were sealed shut. Nobody could get me to open my eyes. I wouldn't hold Mia. Mia was not allowed anywhere near me. I was shouting out to get her away from me. Never in my life did I think that would be the labour stories that you hear about, and the stuff you see in the movies, you know, give me my baby, is my baby okay? Apparently you don't feel any pain after you give birth, and I felt every stitch, and I remember them tugging the placenta out of me and me falling off, being pulled off the bed, or nearly off the bed. Like, I felt everything after, not just the pain of giving birth. I did gas and air, but I didn't do, I was too petrified to have the, I didn't want to be paralysed or anything like that. That really scared me, so I couldn't do that. And yeah, so then I couldn't hold Mia for a couple of hours, I think, and then you get stitched up afterwards, and I felt every stitch, and they kept giving me more and more injections. They were saying they were going to have to give me the what's it called? I can't think of it. Epidural, to just do my stitches afterwards. And when you've just gone through labour and managed to push the baby out and you're petrified of an epidural, like, I cannot explain the idea of not having the use of my legs is like, I can't. I would sooner just be put to sleep and never know anything about it. So I couldn't have the epidural. That was a fear. And bear in mind, my eyes are still closed at this point. We're talking hours of sealed shut, don't touch me, get everyone away from me. Then eventually I get stitched up, I start opening my eyes, and it turns out placenta ruptured. Is it called ruptured placenta? So placenta was left inside of me from where they tugged it out. It disintegrated. Quite a big piece was left inside of me. So then I was put on a drip or something to keep my body contracting for hours and hours after birth. I think it was 8 or 9 hours. It didn't come out naturally, and I had to go in for surgery, of which they wanted to give me an epidural. They tried to do it with gas and air to get the rest of it out, but they couldn't. And I couldn't have an epidural because fear of God, petrified. So I made, after many conversations with doctors trying to convince me to have an epidural, because I think it means less hospital staff and stuff that needed in the theatre when it's happening, they eventually put me to sleep, and I was put out to have the rest of the placenta delivered. And that was the extent of it. Like, in terms of lots of birth stories, it's not that bad, you know. I didn't have excessive bleeding or anything like that, but for me it was really, really traumatizing. And yeah, I came thinking that I would never go through pregnancy ever again. Teddy has now swapped places with Phil because we had a delivery come, and Nico is still next to me. So yeah, so that's what happened with Mia and why I said never again. And then it's been almost 3 years now. It was about 2.5 years when I felt like I'd mentally recovered from pregnancy and labour. It wasn't just the insomnia in pregnancy, it was other things, like uncomfortableness, bad hips, things like that are just common, but I just, yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of everything that happened that made me the way I am. And then cut to, say, 2 years ago, when we knew we were going to be moving into a much bigger house, that it was going to be more rural, we were going to be further away from family, and further away from Mia's cousins. It then started to feel like, honestly, trying to film anything. We just got a fridge delivered and Teddy just weed on it because it's outside, and he just marked his territory up against it. Thankfully it's covered in packaging. Yeah, so cut to 2 years later. We knew we were trying to move, well, we knew we were trying to move for like a year before that, but we knew we were moving, we knew we were going rural, we knew we would have to move further away to get the property that we wanted, so we'd be further away from family, from Mia's cousins. We felt that it wasn't fair for her to be an only child in somewhere that was going to be much more rural, harder to do play dates, things like that, and harder to see family. She would be much more of a solo child than she was before she was a very social child. So that's probably the biggest driving factor, that one, we had space, and two, that we didn't want her to be alone. But then the house fell through that we were supposed to be buying, so we didn't want to start trying until we knew like the house was going through. and then when we did start trying, it took quite a while. Started having concerns that maybe it wasn't going to happen for us for another one. So I think it wasn't too long actually in the grand scheme of things. Again, in comparison to other people, it was 6 or 7 months that we were trying for, and then it finally happened. And I'm really cautious. Like, I think even with Amelia, we didn't announce until 5 months. I like to get to I know it's supposed to be 12 weeks. Lots of people do it because you've had your first scan, but I like to get to that 20-week mark of, I just feel a bit more secure knowing you've got that far along, even though it probably doesn't make that much of a difference. You know, you can lose the baby at any point, but yeah, I like to keep it quite private until quite late on in pregnancy in comparison to some people. So yeah, so it's Mia will be 3 in 5 months. So ideally it wouldn't have been the age gap that you would have wanted. I'd like them closer in age, but mentally and financially and house-wise, now is the time when we are capable. So yeah, so that's the story of pregnancy and why baby number 2. There are no plans for any more babies, but I'm not going to say never say never anymore. I've learnt my lesson on that. I just want to show you Nico. Oh, I just took a screenshot somehow. I didn't know I could do that. I need to put it over here so you can see us, the 2 of us. Hi. So no, can't be work. I can't. Nico, come here. Come here. Good girl. Good girl. Watch baby. So yeah, Mia knew straight away. She knew from the day we tested, and she understood straight away, which I thought was odd because she was only what 2 and 3 months, 4 months when we found out. So I thought that was quite good for her to understand. But she very much wants a little sister. She's made that very clear. She does make me quite broody because probably her favourite toys to play with are babies, feeding babies, changing babies, all of that sort of stuff. So that did make me very broody, seeing how she could be with a sibling. That is probably the main thing she likes to play with. She loves playing doctor with a little medical kit and fixing everybody. So yeah, I knew she would be good with another sibling. I hope anyway when it does come that she is good, but she does very much want a little sister. And then from Shane's perspective, he was obviously elated. He would have had a baby years ago, really close to Mia if he could have, but unfortunately men can't carry children, so men don't really get a say in when the woman is ready, and unless you're in America. Getting political there. Yeah, Shane would have had a baby a long time ago. I just was not mentally or physically ready to try again. So it was very much me that was putting the delay on things, and then it was in the hands of somebody else for when it happened for us, which it has finally happened. So yeah, we are overjoyed. We're really happy to take you guys along the journey with us. The pets and everyone are, I think Milo and Phil have noticed a big difference in. Nico and Teddy not so much, but you'll see more of that as the videos come in. But Phil was massive. If you've been here for my first pregnancy, you'll know that Phil kind of slept on my belly all the time, wanted to be on my belly, wanted to sniff my belly constantly, and Milo likes to sleep on me. And it's actually quite funny, and I don't know if this is true or not, but Mia was kept in hospital for 3 or 4 days. Nico, come here. No. Come here. She was kept in hospital. Sorry, she can't go. We've got a delivery at the moment of a fridge freezer, and she's tormenting the delivery drivers. Yeah, Mia was kept in hospital for 3 days because they had concerns about her breathing. She kept with every breath she was going oh, like with every breath making a laboured sound. And they kept doing different tests to make sure that her lungs and everything were okay. And we ended up putting it down to she was like purring, so it was a comfort for her to put herself to sleep. And I put that down to the fact that Milo slept on my chest most nights, purring away. That was her like purring, and it wasn't anything to be concerned about. It was just a noise that she made for comfort. So anyway, guys, that's most of the questions I think I've answered now. If you do have any more, please leave them in the comments and I will film another video very soon. But I hope that answers most of the questions, clarifies some stuff up for you, and we'll see you in the next video. I hope you're excited for the gender reveal. It will be coming very soon. Bye.